All right, I remembered to use my intro. I always forget to do that, so thanks for reminding me. How's it going, everybody? I hadn't gone anywhere. I'm not missing. I'm right here. I've just been really busy. Got a couple extra jobs trying to pay the bills, and but today I made time to interview my friend James, the financial guru, today because he explained some information to me and a group of people that I speak with on a Telegram channel, chat channel called the Matrix Groove Show. And it's an amazing group of people. There are experts in all kinds of different fields, people that are digital soldiers, citizen investigators, and patriots, and just people that talk, share ideas. Sometimes they call it the skiff. It's like a think tank intel discussion room, pretty much. People come up with new ideas, new information, or connect some dots. And that's where I met James. And he explained something to me that I had a basic knowledge of. I knew that we were owned by a corporation in the United States. I might even be saying this wrong, and I'll let James correct me if I say this wrong. But we apparently do not own ourselves. The United States became a corporation, I believe, in 1871, and when we get a social security number, we get our footprint put on our birth certificate and all that, it puts us into a trust, apparently. And we have free will, but we are owned by this corporation. And I just learned from James that you can look up your corporate information and what corporations have bought and sold you, and what your value is. And that's about the extent of what I can explain. So I'd like to welcome James. James, thank you so much for being here, taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it. You're one of my favorite people, if not my favorite person, on the Matrix Groove Show. I love hearing you talk, and I've learned so much new information from you, and it's really an honor to have you here.
It's kind of you to say, and thanks for having me.
It's an honor. So, okay. I'm probably not going to do much talking here because you are the expert on this, and I have a really limited knowledge of how all this works. So we were on the Matrix Groove Show, and everybody's talking about this different stuff, and you started explaining to people what websites you can go to to look up your information, where you've been bought and sold, what your value is, and everybody in the chat starts getting on and putting in their information, and everybody's really surprised that they're finding all this information on themselves, including myself. And they asked you, I don't know how many times, wait, where do I go? What do I click on? How do I do this?
It must have been probably 100, I bet, on there.
Yeah, it seemed like it. It seemed like a lot. So
there's a lot, for sure.
Of course, the way my brain works was like, man, if there was like a user guide for people to go check this information out, that'd be really helpful. So I asked you to be on my show, and we could help people walk through this process to look up your information. And so that's one of the reasons you're here. Can you just get? I mean, there's no short explanation of how this happened, but can you explain to people basically how we became property of?
Sure, 40,000-foot explanation. Here we go. Start the plane. We're off and running. All right. So. 1871, Congress walks out because we owed other international banks money and debt from the Civil War. It had ended, and they wanted payments, and we had no cash. We're broke. We're a brand new country again. So they said, well, if you're going to do that, then we're going to make some adjustments to your Constitution. And they did. They changed the 14th Amendment. They did a lot of things, actually. And during that whole process, they made us incorporated to the crown. Since that day, instead of freeing black people, everybody became slaves instead. We've been slaves ever since. The day you can watch the videos on YouTube where it explains the jurisdiction of the land and sea and helps you understand just what they've done to us. And you'll understand, like, the flag that you think of as our flag is not our real flag. It's an Admiralty flag, and like there's all kinds of things you'll learn as you start to explore this.
The one with the yellow The yellow fringe, right? That's Admiralty flag. Okay, I don't mean to. I didn't mean to cut you off so soon, but you said something that I say a lot. That when they knew that black slaves were going to be freed, they decided to enslave everybody. And I started doing some research on that, and I learned that the IRS was created a year after the Civil War started, and then 4 months after the IRS was started, the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. So they knew the Emancipation Proclamation was coming, so they started the IRS to financially enslave everybody.
Yep. Well, and you get to back in the old days, they talk about like revenuers. They'd come and try to take your money, take the taxes from the government. Well, back then, everyone was spread out. They weren't so concentrated. It was harder for them to just take stuff from you. So the government had the IRS, but didn't have its teeth yet. It wouldn't get its teeth after the Great Depression, or actually Prohibition, Great Depression right in there. But at any rate, so they go on, they create the IRS, yeah, and all these things start to happen. And we're a corporation. That's good and bad. The last president we had that stood up to him after that was Teddy Roosevelt, because they thought Teddy was going to be a paid guy, and he wasn't. Like they thought he'd capitulate, he didn't. He went to bust up their trusts, and they got really serious at that point. They realized we have to centralize the finances, because if it's not centralized, we're going to have trouble. That's how you end up with the central bank, and that's a whole other string of things you can educate yourself on. I give you just pieces of these because I want you to understand that this wasn't done instantly, and this state of our existence wasn't done instantly. So once they centralized the money, then they're able to have control of it now. So now they control the money flows. Now they can determine how much you're going to get. And now they remember they've already corporate bonded you. You have your employee number. You think it's your Social Security number, but it's an employee number. It really is. You're a member of the corporation in the United States, and your social is your employee number. But the way you also have to know is every employee is not worth the same. Everyone gets to start the same. We all start at $1 million in bonding at birth. There's literally a $1 million savings bond bought for you by our government at your birth. In 30 years, it matures to $1 million. And then at year 31, they either keep that one because it's like locked in some really good companies, and they keep it, or they'll call it where they turn it in for the $1 million. Or if you deceased, you're like, where's the money go? Money goes to the government. So when you pass, all that money that you've created through your not even knowing goes to the government's coffers. That's why our government writes checks like no tomorrow, because the United States as a whole is worth about $400 trillion, give or take $100 trillion. And yeah, we have obligations over $100 trillion, but it's not even close to what our real worth is. And that's just the government itself. That's not the people's individual accounts. There are some people that have taken the account to say that every American citizen has a net worth they'd be able to buy the country of New Zealand. The country of New Zealand is about a $40 billion little island, right? And they'd be able to buy it. They could buy it with $40 billion. So, not that it's for sale, but just so you understand where we're at.
Yeah.
America has such epic wealth to their name. It's been built over centuries. Remember, it started in 1871. This didn't start last week. So they've been doing it for almost 200 years. 200 years. If you do anything, a simple compounding wealth, right? So if you do simple, what's called the rule of 72, and you just take and use that for simple compounding. Let's say we started back then with all the gold we had as a country, which we did, and all of our natural resources, which were there, which were part of our stuff. And you compound that wealth of what that was worth globally, it'd be tens of trillions of dollars. I can see where someone would come up with that number. And as a whole. And that's what we're worth as Americans. We're the most valuable things walking on the planet, but we're the most ignorant of our true value financially to the rest of the globe, which is nuts. And the globe itself means that everything that has a centralized bank. So like a lot of these countries now are starting to kick those banks out. They're learning this and they're like, hit the road. And they're throwing out these central banks. 1, 2, 3. Russia did it. Holland's in the process of doing it now. So that's happening all over the globe. We'll be one of the last because this is where it started, so to speak. Mm-hmm. They're here in England, and England is already, went through some of their purging processes too. So how do you get to this, and what's this tie to this stuff about what you're worth? There's a website, and it's GMEIutility.org. And you can go on there. And what we're talking about is you can lay claims to that and all your natural given rights from God above by becoming a state national. And by that meaning you're going to remove yourself from the corporation. And now think of yourself as a member of the board of directors or a shareholder. You're no longer an employee of the corporation. Why would I do that, you ask? Well, one, you could tell the IRS to pound sand, and they have to leave. They don't touch you. They don't ever tax you again. If you ever noticed when you're driving your car, and they could pull you over and they take your car and they tell you, yeah, well, after you pay all these fees, that's because you technically don't own your car. They own it. Just like they own the land you stand on, the house you're in. Until you claim all those things, they own them. But then when you own them, they can do nothing. Just like a police officer can't bother you because unless you create a victim, you have no crime. You operate outside of the traditional uniform commercial code jurisdictions. And it's what makes you very unique in that position compared to everybody else. So anyway, you go forward and you use that website, and you can find all the companies that they've did using your bonded value. Remember, I said you get a bond, so your bonded value is like mine, for example. My bonded value is about $11 million, so I can go tens times that number. So all my companies, or any point in time, are worth probably 110 to 120 million dollars. That doesn't count my share as an American and all my generations, because my family's been in America on my father's side since the 1600s, because they're one of the Irish that were brought over. Which the history fact for the rest of you: Irish were the first slaves. Just get your facts straight. And so anyway, so it goes back to then. So my family's wealth goes way back, technically speaking, and I'm entitled to a piece of that if I was to somehow figure a way to claim it all, right? Which there are people who are trying to do that now, figure out what the lines cut are. I'm far more simple. I like the idea of paying no taxes, travel as I want, carry conceal wherever I want to go, and have no questions from the cops that leave me alone. No FISA, or I mean, no TSA shenanigans, none of that stuff. So for me, that's worth everything to do versus anything else. And obviously, if as I access my trust at my level, $10, $12 million wouldn't make for a crappy life and make a pretty nice one. So all of that stuff you're entitled to get and have as you claim. They call claiming your straw man. So once you claim your straw man or your corporate entity, you personally, the living soul, the being that you know of yourself as, claim the corporate entity of yourself. You get all the things that corporate entity does as benefit. So you get the money, you get the other stuff. There's processes to go through. You can look. Every state in the United States has an assembly now. You can go to your state assembly and look at becoming a state national, and then start the process on your way to accessing the other stuff. Is that a good summary there, Michael? Hello? I think I lost him. Well, people, I am live on his channel, and I don't know where he is. Okay. Well, GMIutility.org. Go there and check it out. It'll help you understand. You have to go to the renewal column, enter your social dashes, and you will see all the companies tied to your name. And because I don't know where he's at, I'm going to bow out of this chat. Stay well, stay safe, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Would you imagine that timing right there? Let's see. Okay, so I'm still here. Let's try to get James back. My internet went out, so I had to restart my router and all that good stuff. Let's send him a message. My internet went out, period. You can join the interview again and we can finish, period. Well, that's some impeccable timing, right? I am here still, so, okay. Apparently, okay, either that was impeccable timing and very coincidental, or maybe our owners didn't want us talking about this. Now, I've had a lot of other targeted individuals research trusts and finding our name in trusts and linked to different corporations that research neural technology, things that are linked to the Brain Initiative and stuff like that. So this is making more and more sense now. And somebody doesn't like the fact that the slaves are trying to leave the plantation. And just like James said, they decided to enslave everyone. You've heard me say the same thing. When they knew the slaves were going to be freed, after the Civil War, they started the IRS. Oh, come on, James, come on back, buddy. Okay, so the websites that he was talking about, man, I hope he comes back because I can't explain this all to you. So, but these websites, and the first one we were going to go to is this one right here. Let's see, I need to share that screen. Share screen. That one. Okay, so this is called GMEI Utility. And this is the website. And this is where I wanted to have James walk us through this. This is what people were asking over and over on the talk yesterday about where you can look up what corporations have bought and sold you. I looked mine up. There were corporations all over South Africa, like 80–90% of the corporations that have bought and sold me were in South Africa, and then some different other countries. And one of the people that were looking their information up, most of the corporations that had bought and sold them were in China. I wonder if James's internet went down coincidentally at the same time. Come on back, buddy. We need you. Let's see if we can call him. Hello. Yeah, I can't. Okay. Either that was impeccable coincidental timing, or somebody doesn't want us talking about that. My internet went out, so I had to restart my router and everything, and the live stream stayed live, and I'm on here. So if you want to join again, then we can finish our interview.
Okay, fine.
All right, I'll see you here in a second. Okay. James should be on his way back, folks. You know, it wouldn't be a Mike Barden live stream without some kind of technical difficulty, would it? I mean, when stuff like this happens, I guess you're over the, I hate to use the term, but over the target. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to go to this website, GMEI Utility, and follow along with us, I'm going to ask James if he can walk us through this, and I'm going to do mine on here. I'll remove the, there he is. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Sorry about that. I guess, I mean, not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but it almost seems like somebody didn't want us to talk about that. So, but
Kind of kinky, Danny. Yeah.
Little coinkadinkle. I guess it wouldn't be a Mike Barden live stream without some kind of technical difficulty. Most of the interviews I've done over the last few years have had some kind of something like that. Yep, a glitch. Okay, we've got James back. Thanks for being patient with us, James.
No worries.
So you were right in the middle of explaining something, and I don't know if you.
I further explained it, and then I wished everybody a good day, and I left.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, maybe
so I'm assuming they were still on, but I didn't pull up the menu like you did here. So, but they got to hear it. So now I can give some context to what I was explaining.
Yep. So while we were waiting for you to log back in, I was just giving a basic explanation of what this GMI utility website is that I have up here on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe you would definitely be a better person to explain what this website is and what we can do with it.
All right, so this website is it's a mirror of the DTCC database. Getting direct access to the DTCC database can be done, but it's costly to say the least. But anyway, but this mirrors it, costs you nothing. You can kind of see what's going on, and we'll definitely give you the information to start claiming some of your companies that exist in your name once you go through the full process of becoming a national. First, you got to be a national. You can't shortcut. I cannot emphasize that enough. There are no shortcuts. They will put you in prison. It's the same as stealing corporate property. You don't have rights to this property yet. So it's like anything else. Like one lady figured out how to write checks against her bond balance because she figured out which bank housed her bonds. And she went in and started writing checks against it, and she ended up in prison. She's in prison right now. It's the same as embezzlement. Like I said, this is a corporation, and you don't have corporate rights to it yet. Wow. So you have to get the rights. You have to overthrow the board, vote them out, take control. And that even state national.
Even though they're using us as a monetary vehicle, basically. I can't think of any other way to.
We are the bank that they're making loans from. Because we have a value of X, they're making loans from that value, up to 10 times our overall value. Because guess what happens every year? You work for the IRS, and you give a portion of your earnings, so they're always getting payments from you every year. And over the course of people's lifetime, they'll earn at least $1 million in earnings. Well, they know they're going to get 30% of that from you over your life. Not counting all the embedded taxes that's in everything you buy. Mm-hmm. So, for example, quick back note to that, like if you bought a Made in America chair, well, that was a finished product. And every time that got transferred, it got hit with taxes because the truckers got to take it a mile and then they pick up the next piece and they take it. So like your car is a great example. Tons of pieces all over the world in your car. They've been shipped from different points of being raw material, and every time there's a tax. You have 35 to 40% in that car's value tax. Now take that across all the industries we have. That's all the money we generate for them. Not counting the stuff they directly take from us.
Wow. And that adds up quick with 330 million people.
Oh, bananas money. Like it's so much money you can't. You figure if we've got a $21 trillion economy, they're making around $4 trillion off us a year. Because all those taxes that flow through, it comes out to be that money, but it's passive tax. You have to understand there's 3 jurisdictions that we answer to. And the one's ruled by Vatican, the one's ruled by London, and one's ruled by United States Corporation. And we pay all 3 of them some form from our labor.
all those city states.
Yep, you got it. So
Okay.
that's my utility page. That's what it covers. It gives you a chance to look when you put in your SOCH, which you could probably do while we're talking. You do
Okay.
it on the renewal page. Put the renewal page up. Put your SOCH in with dashes and hit enter. I don't think you want people seeing your SOCH while you do that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Wait. Well, I'll just start this process and then I'll take the
Yeah, when
screen.
it says renewals, the second one in.
Okay.
There
So,
you go. Yep.
so everybody go to renewals.
Yep. And then pop it back out. Put your SOCH in. There you go. Put your SOCH with dashes and push enter.
Okay. I need to make sure that I don't scroll down too much. So my social.
Well, I would actually sort your list.
Okay.
Sort up by country. So if you hit sort, it'll reverse sort and then put United States at the top that way. And then just pick a United States business. And we'll go
Reverse.
Yeah.
Sort.
Yep.
Okay. I'm looking for that.
Yeah, look for US based business. Doesn't matter. Make sure it has a green box, not a red one.
Where does it say sort?
You don't. You go up to the very top, see where it says country, click it once.
Oh, okay. Oh, and it starts alphabetically.
Yep. Now click it again. It'll reverse sort.
Okay.
All right. Now scroll down to United States and pick one with the green box and open it up, and we'll look at that one. There we go.
I'm gonna add this to the stream here, folks.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm on the GMI utility website, gmiutility.org. And these, I put in my social security number.
Yep.
And these are the corporations that have made money. How do we explain that?
So you have, let's see, what, like 1,200 records? Yeah. So you have 1,200 records. So they're not all active. So you see where there's red ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those aren't active for various reasons. Could be tons of different reasons why. Cashed it out. They just didn't want to trade on you anymore. They lost their authority. There could be lots of things. So anyway, we just go to the green one, like that one in Chicago. Click that one. See those blue numbers to the left?
Yes.
Those are your contract numbers on the exchange. So the DTCC exchange, that's how they know what contract this is.
Chicago, huh?
Yeah, so click that little pile of blue numbers. Watch this. Boom. All right. So there you go, 1200 West 37th Street building at LLC. So it's a real estate operation. Looks to be here, real estate and registered authority is Illinois business offices, the Secretary of State. So they're registered in the Secretary of State of Illinois. Your managing partner is Bloomberg. Same Bloomberg that you would know of. That's the same one.
Michael. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's their investment companies managing that. Managing just this investment. And what else to tell you? The legal address is the legal address. Headquarters. Last updated was January 2021, meaning that they updated some information, may even took some money from you, from the investment. And then that's it. And then every one of those is something like this. And then all have ones. And then you can go to Dun & Bradstreet with that contract number, and you can get even more information.
Now, what would this corporation want with me? How would they make money off of me?
Because you have a base value of X as a citizen, and they can borrow against that up to 10 times.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this is definitely something that we're not taught about in school.
I know.
Yeah.
I have a degree in economics and finance, and I never knew about it until about 2 years ago, year ago.
This is amazing.
No, it's crazy. And as you go through, when you go through them all, you'll see they're all over the world, and it's the same group of, I don't know how to put it, sycophants that have created the whole elite cabal, whatever you want to call it.
It's that big old club that George Carlin talks about that we're not in.
That's it. And most people, they want either the shortcut, so they won't do the work and they get in trouble, or they just try to take a shortcut. But I tell you, and I emphasize again and again and again, do the homework, read, educate yourself, so you know what everything is in detail and why. Like most people, like if I told you the color of your ink, how you sign stuff matters, today it doesn't because you're dead. It doesn't matter. You have no authority one way or the other. But once you become a national, your ink color matters. It's that detailed.
Wow.
You no longer have a signature, you have an autograph. Because you don't want to put your actual signature on anything. Because if you do, if you write it in blue or red, there's a different meaning if you write it in black. Right? So you'll learn all these things when you go through the process of becoming a national.
You know, I learned a little bit about signing your signature, and I didn't know enough about it to explain it to anybody, but I quit signing my checks. I started printing my name on my checks.
Yep, that's right. Because then you're telling them that your authority, you've given the authority back to the straw man. You're not involved. It's not your signature. You're not the living soul is not putting any claim to whatever you're putting your name on.
This is ludicrous.
Just like you can have all your credit or all your debt wiped as well. So, for example, everything that comes to you from a creditor, and it's all in large caps, that's debt against your straw man. So your straw man can't. So fine, you just take it out of my master account, whatever I owe you, right? Because they gave you a fictitious value at birth, and they trade on that. Well, you say, well, just debit my fictitious account for the amount of money I owe, and they do. So people get their mortgages wiped out. There's all kinds of things you can do because it's not true debt. Because the only way you can repay debt then is with an asset, and you can't repay it with an asset. Remember, they took all your gold and silver and stuff, and you can acquire it now, but at one point in time you didn't, and then the government said, "Well, we're not going to accept that. We'll accept our paper dollars," right? So
Yeah.
Right. So they nullified it, which, though, in reality, they were collecting all the gold and silver. They kept it, and they just took away tons from Americans and destroyed wealth many times, different ways. And that's another way that they did it. But I would tell anybody, go through the process and you'll realize there's so many things that you'll get an advantage from that you'll be mad you didn't do it sooner or sooner. Especially with this threat of vaccines and travel threats coming up now, and where they're going to restrict your ability to travel unless you have some stupid RNA soup jammed in your body. And you'll be able to say, pound sand, my body's mine, punks. And I say no. And they can't do anything. And TSA can't do anything because you get a special passport. You are exempt from all that stuff.
You say con sand?
Pound sand, yeah. Pound, like, start walking.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought it was something.
Yep. We're getting latency again. Ooh. Boop.
Okay, it looks like we're back. It didn't go all the way out that time.
Nice.
This is good. This is somebody telling us we're doing a good job here, and we're giving people information they don't want them to.
No, they really don't want this to be the mass information. This is what ultimately is the truth of the truths. Like, when Americans start to wake up and realize this, you can't fathom. Because that basically means overnight we'll have the ability to eliminate all things on planet that plague the planet.
Now, all of this seems unconstitutional to me.
Well, it isn't. There's a constitution that governs it.
Yeah. Okay, so these corporations are operating outside of the Constitution, violating our constitutional rights.
Why? You're part of the corporation.
Oh, okay. I get that was a question. Okay, so
You only violate your rights when you claim your straw man. Right now, you don't. So they're not going to just let it sit around. They'll put it to work for you. They just didn't tell you. So they hired you. They never gave you an employee handbook. Let's put it that way. You got hired and no employee handbook.
Explain to us dummies what a straw man is.
Oh, sorry. So your straw man is the term that we use for your corporate entity. And at your birth, actually, there's 3 of them made. They make 3 straw men at birth: a nonprofit, not-for-profit, and for-profit straw man. And then all 3 of those operate in the nonprofit, not-for-profit, and for-profit businesses. So at any point in time, you could have, I've seen as many as 15,000 companies to some people.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how do they evaluate the person? If I think I heard you say about the more degrees they have, or the more.
Right. Yep, that's right. If they got married, if you have kids, if you have or children, if you have a boy or girl. See, I can correct my own language as well. If you have a boy or girl, because children means a child, and there's parent and child company, so it's corporate language. Just like you don't call yourself a citizen anymore, you're a soul on the land,
Okay.
or you're a man or a woman.
Yep.
And different things like that. You have to learn to change your language, because people don't realize that language is the one thing that empowers them to do these things. So, like, a really great example is you go to the judge and you're in front of the judge, and the judge says, you walk past those doors to go in. They say, you got to sit at the table. Well, so you go sit at the table. Well, the second you walk through those doors, you admitted to being ruled by admiralty law, because that court is an admiral's chamber. If you go look at all the ancient admiral's chambers, they look just like our courtrooms. And when you walk through there, you surrendered your rights of being on the land, and you said, I am now on the sea. And they ask you, do you understand? You're like, yeah, I understand English. No, that may I understand. Oh, I stand under you, meaning your authority is greater than mine.
So when they call you into the stand, and you refuse to walk to the stand,
yep,
and they start yelling at you, say, you need to get in here to the stand.
Nope. Here's why they won't touch you, and this is the other part. Like I said, you'll learn these things, but you have to do declared notice. Like for me, I'll be a national in the next week or so, 2 weeks probably, by the time I get everything done. So at that point, they called me, and well, I've already sent a notice to all the courthouses in my area that says, I am of the land and no longer of the sea. If you choose to harass me and restrict my abilities, here's your following fine schedule. And they adhere to it, they'll pay it, because if they don't, it doesn't work for all their buddies either, right? So it is the same rules for everybody. They just don't tell you all the rules. So they're like, they play with the advanced set of rules, and they gave you basics maybe, right? So once that happens and they pull you in, they're like, oh, this guy, I let him go. Don't touch him, get him out of here. And then, like, there's another thing, you get paid every time they use your autograph without your permission. So they can't just use your name and stuff and rack you up in a courthouse with your name everywhere. There's lots of things like that. Because, like, if most people start to really dig, they'll realize that every courthouse in America is a private company. And they're all, and the judges get a percentage of the revenue from the courthouse.
Wow.
The judge does. So it's all corporate. Everything's corporate. So unless there's a victim, like I didn't kill somebody's dog or smash someone's property. Even if I smashed someone's property with my car and nobody got hurt, I would just write them a check out of my fund account to them to fix whatever needs to be fixed, and they go and do whatever, right? So that's how that works. And there's less than 5 million of us currently in the U.S.
This is priceless information for me, and I'm going to have to take a crash course on this because I'm currently on probation. I don't know if you know my whole story. January 4th of 2018, 3 weeks after I uploaded a video documenting organized stalking and harassment, what I go through as a targeted individual, I was set up and arrested. I spent 1 year and 8 months in court. I had an ankle monitor on my leg that whole time. I was railroaded. I paid an attorney $35,000. Somebody possibly paid him more than I paid him, and then it was. But I've never been in this situation, so I didn't. What's that?
It's so crazy.
Yeah, and the guy turned on me. I mean, this guy. I won't go into this tangent, but I kind of need to explain this to some people because they could end up in the same situation too, and that's part of what I'm trying to do is to help educate people so they don't end up having to go through what I've gone through. But yeah, this attorney, I did some research on him, and there was a lady in actually the neighborhood across from here, and both of her children died, 2 young toddlers. She admitted to drowning those toddlers. She admitted it. This attorney, I'll say his name, I don't care, Mark J. Victor, got her off, got the case dismissed.
Wow.
After she admitted. So I was like, okay, this guy's got to be pretty good. I have enough evidence to prove that I was set up. This guy's got to be able to work for me and get this taken care of.
Sure.
And as soon as I gave him that check, he turned on me and treated me like I was the opposition. And it was hell from there. I ended up having to fire him and ended up with a public defender who did absolutely nothing. I tried to speak for myself in court because the public defender wouldn't. The judge literally told me to shut up, that I don't speak, that the attorney speaks. And, I was just like, what, this is bizarro world. This makes no sense. This is not justice. This is them manipulating the system and using lawfare to attack me for uncovering one of the biggest scams in the United States.
Well, and so but that gets back to the point, right? See, if the president moved forward with his case, the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court told me he doesn't have standing. So think on that. The president says, and they said, we don't have standing. So that means, your authority is not recognized in our court. Now, I know that's for optics purposes. Personally, I believe that's just to get the America at large to wonder why he wouldn't have standing in the court as president. So they look into this because I know Trump's already a national. I already know he is.
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing this on purpose to get people to, recognize what they need to do to slowly start attacking the system so that it will collapse.
Well,
national.
Okay, so is this something that we're all going to have to educate ourselves on and do on our own accord, or is there going to be any kind of help to help us get through that process? I mean, because this is a very intricate. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, and there is. You can go do it now. It's you go online and you can find assemblies. They're called state assemblies, and you can get involved in your local state assembly depending on what state you're in. Like Texas has one that has actual meetings. They have so many people that get together and do meetings. Doesn't mean they're going to do the work for you. I'm telling you, because you have to know it to have authority to represent it. Because when Officer Busybody pulls you over and you're like, no, and you hand him your passport and a letter that says he's been bonded, he's like, okay. But if you can't explain exactly how that works and what will happen to him, he's gonna put you in the back of a squad car. And eventually they'll get down to the courthouse, and the courthouse will be like, whoa, how long have you had this guy for? Oh man, someone give him his money. Sorry, sir. See ya. So that's all how it works. It's all a system. And we have access to it. They've never denied anybody access. It's not a question of that. They just don't tell you.
Yeah. And they look at it like it's your own fault that you didn't do the research on your own and figure it out.
That's right. Yep.
Huh. I've heard somebody use the term hidden wisdom before. That kind of sounds like that might be what that is. I don't know.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah. But, I mean, that's it. I mean, everything else work you have to do yourself. And Anna von Reitz is another lady that REITZ and Von, VON, Anna. She was the OG to this whole process of research. So she's got it all very detailed, very meticulously done. You can go and read through all her pages and pages and pages of stuff.
Okay.
And, and then there's other people she'll reference, and you can go follow some other stuff too. But once you start to get it, it'll all start to like gel. It's just not, it's new to you. So it's all new. So it's not going to gel easy. Right.
Yeah.
That's all. But otherwise.
Okay. So we looked up the GMEI utility.
Yeah.
And this is mine, everybody. Yep. So these are the corporations that have bought and sold me pretty much.
Yep.
Now there is another website called Treasury Direct.
.gov.
.gov. Okay, I'm going to add that here, and
Okay.
I need to multitask. Let's see here. Stop screen. Share screen. Let's bring that one up.
Okay.
Can you
There
see
you
it?
go.
There it is.
Bond calculator on the bottom.
Okay.
Click
Hold
that
on
cal-
one second. When I said I need to multitask,
Oh,
I have to use the bathroom. So I'm going to use this opportunity. Hey, my live streams, I keep it real. I don't hide anything from anybody. So I'm going to go do that real quick, but can
take
you?
your bio break. Go ahead.
What's that?
I said you take your bio break. Go ahead.
No, not bile. We're going one here. Can you just explain to people, give them like a
Sure.
one explanation of what this is, and I will be right back, y'all.
Well, folks, what you're looking at is a TreasuryDirect.gov website. Just like it sounds, it's the Treasury's website. They use to track all their investments for if you were to buy like savings bonds or notes or what have you. On here, we're going to look at your savings bond, meaning you. And when he returns, we'll click on the thing that says calculator at the bottom there. You'll click on that icon. And the funny thing is it'll even put up a warning that says, hey, this isn't used to calculate anything other than a savings bond from the government. Well, your bond, it's on there. And your savings bond is there. And again, it's just your social, again, with no dashes this time. We'll show you how to do it here in a second when he returns from the bathroom. Right. Until then, go grab a drink or something. I can tell you what I do for another business, though. I do build entrepreneurs, hence the really cool background behind me. And whoops, which I could show you, but let me switch cameras. So
I'm back.
All right.
Thanks everybody for waiting for me. Okay, so what were you trying to do? To go to the?
I was going to show everybody. Oops, sorry. I was just not trying to do anything, waiting for you, basically.
Okay, appreciate it. Appreciate the patience.
He's killing some time.
You've been very patient with me. We were supposed to do this yesterday, and I was so exhausted from the manual labor that I just fell out yesterday. I fell asleep and got some needed rest. So, but okay, so run Treasury Direct. I'm going to put that back up here.
Treasury Direct calculator, right?
Yep.
So you got a little calculator down on the bottom.
Calculator.
Yep. Click
Right
that.
there.
Yep.
Find the value of your savings bond.
Boom. Easy peasy.
Okay.
Now where it says your bond serial number, that's your SOCH without dashes. And then your date of birth is the bond issue date, so just a month and year.
Okay.
And if you're born before 1986, you're an E series. Born after 86, you're a double E. It's that simple. Yep.
Okay.
Produced.
Yep. Value as of March 2021. Okay, so I'm going to go off of this screen. I'm going to put my social in, and then. Okay, let's remove that.
And pick denomination of 10,000 just because they're fun.
Okay, so there are bonds in all of these different denominations in our names. Okay, calculate. The following errors have occurred. What did I do wrong?
Your series of bond might be wrong, or
Oh, you said E bond.
yeah, you need an E if you're before 86.
That's all right. Okay.
Yep. You do that, and it'll give you your total value of your bond, your first bond.
Okay. So on this page, it doesn't show. Oh shit, it does. It shows my social.
Yep. You're gonna have to just once you hit enter, it shouldn't. Oh, it does. I'm sorry. You're right. It does.
It shows it right there. Bonds.
It does. That's okay. I mean, that's then that number times 50,000. See that number. I'm sorry. That number times 10,000 is your overall value.
I'm not worth much to these
Well, you're
guys.
not worth much. What your total value says now? What's that number?
$263.14.
Your total value says $263.
Yep.
Then times 10,000. So yeah.
So, wow.
But I think something's wrong there somewhere. You did a denomination of $10,000, yes?
Correct.
And an E series bond, yes?
Correct.
And the issue date, the month and year of your birth.
Yep.
And your total value is only $2,000.
Yep.
Did you
So-
just turn? Are you like 31 or something?
What's that?
How old are you?
I turned 46 on March 2nd. So 3 days ago.
Shot that theory right in the foot. Yeah, I have no idea then why. That's kind of weird. You're one of the lowest values I've seen. Most people run around, like I said, 2 million to, well, they're young. I go to their 30, 2 million, and then oldest one I see someone's at, what was she at, like 106 or something.
That's what I was hearing on the in the chat room yesterday.
Hmm?
People were talking about their values. Okay, wait. Here's something else just came up here. E-bonds. Okay, it updated now. Now it says total value. I don't even know what it is.
You're gurgling.
14 cents.
14 cents. What?
Huh. Total interest $45,353.63.
Okay.
All
So
right.
there you go. Times 10,000. So you're 4.5 million.
Okay. Man, I sure could use that right now.
Well, most people would agree. They'd say the same thing.
Okay, folks. So you can do this on your own. I wish I could show you the process here, but I guess we can.
Enough. I mean, it's not hard to figure it out.
Yeah, I'll just try to help you talk you through it, since this is a guide to seeing what your value is. So you go to treasurydirect.gov.
Mhm.
You go over on the left-hand side and go to calculate the value of your paper savings bond or bonds.
Well, I would just use way down at the very bottom of the screen. Scroll down. Just scroll down on the landing page when you first land. There's an icon that takes you right to it.
Okay, let me go back to that.
Go to your landing page and scroll to the bottom.
Okay.
This is calculator right there.
Where?
You're at treasurydirect.gov.
Under individuals.
If you go, when you type in treasurydirect.gov, that's what. So if you scroll further down, it says resource and tools. So you're not going down far enough. Savings bond calculator. It looks like a little calculator.
Right there.
Yeah, click it.
Okay. Savings bond calculator.
Boom.
Okay. This is why we have people like James helping us, because I mean,
around it makes it easy.
Value as of. So there's the date that you're checking to see. That's March. Now, this is where you select your bond. So if you're born before 1986, you're an E bond.
Yep.
86 and
Yep.
EE.
Yep.
And you can check all of these different denominations here, correct?
Yeah, you can use. Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, it'll just give you a bigger number at the final number. That's all.
Okay. All right.
That's all. So 10,000 just makes it easy to do the math.
Okay. All right. And then you enter your social security number here and your month and date of birth. And then when you find your final value or the total value, then you multiply that by 10,000.
Right. Correct.
Pretty easy. Where was this in school? Who gets this information?
International bankers. That's about it.
Okay, so their kids, they probably explain this to their kids, and then their kids
I don't know if they explain it to them. I'm just saying they get to use the information and make money off of it.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's
That is
beyond
amazing.
us.
Okay, folks. Well, there you go. We have GMEI utility that we've gone over. That's GMEIutility.org. You can see which corporations have bought and sold you, and then treasurydirect.gov, and you can see what your worth is.
Mhm.
This is amazing. This is amazing. I can't believe that. Well, yeah, I can't believe that more people don't know about this. But this is some invaluable. Did I say that correctly? This is some priceless information for us to learn to progress as individuals. To just our knowledge. Ignorance is. Oh, hello, Kat. You want to?
Cat's like, I'm done. We're done.
Want to say hi?
Ah, nice.
Come over here. That's Grumpy Cat.
Well, all cats are kind of grumpy.
No, she's that the meme Grumpy Cat. No, she's actually pretty awesome.
Yeah,
it's my girlfriend's cat. Wow, I'm sure a lot of people are speechless, kind of like I feel right now.
Oh, I'm sure there's a lot of that.
This puts
a lot of naysayers too. A lot of everybody else, all the way across the board, for sure.
Okay, well, folks, if this is all new information to you, this is something that would definitely be good for you to research and understand. The last interview I did was with somebody that's on the Matrix Group channel sometimes too. His username is Branzen, Branzen, and he talks about constitutional law, corporate law, all that stuff. And he seemed like he knew what he was talking about. He explains how we're born into the trust, just like we were talking about here. And this interview explains how you can actually look that information up and see how you've been used. Man, I don't even know what else to ask you here.
I think we got it all covered.
Yeah, that was great.
So,
okay, so how can, or if you want people to find you and request your services, how do they contact you?
Yeah, just they can reach out at james@idicfinancial.com. So it's james@idicfinancial.com. Yeah, I'll be more than happy to help them. And everything, my primary business is helping people build businesses. So something like the Shark Tank or the Profit, I do that for people.
Huh. Well, I might need to check out James at idicfinancial.com. Here, let me do this.
Mm-hmm. My website's being remodeled, so right now it's messy, but you can go there if you want. That's why I didn't give it, and that's idicfinancial.com. Matter of fact, I don't think it's up anymore. I think I moved it. It's getting moved this week. Pretty sure.
Is that right?
Yeah.
James at idic.com.
Yeah, IDIC Financial.
Oh, IDIC Financial. Here, let's.
Yeah, try one more. Yep. James at idicfinancial.com.
I'm just going to put it on here so people can.
No worries. Sure.
Did I spell that right?
Yep.
Okay, so that's where you can find James and talk to him further about this. And I definitely need to talk to you more. I'm in a pickle right now, and I'm going to need to take a crash course on this to protect my freedom. And I can't tell you how appreciative I am that you're sharing this information with me and everybody else.
Of course.
This is a big deal. And I prayed about this. I didn't used to be the kind of person that would pray. I grew up in went to a private Christian school when I was a little kid, and then went to another church. Weird stuff happened, and I turned into an atheist. That all these Christians are crazy, and they're just
It's funny you never find an atheist on a crashing plane.
Yeah. So, but just to finish my story, so people don't wonder. Then I went to agnostic, where I was just like, yeah, there might be something, and now I'm to the point where, there's without a doubt, there's got to be a higher power, something that is somebody, God, that's watching over us. And I've been praying every day on my drive home to work, hours a day to point me in the right direction and to help me through this, to give me the information that I needed to protect myself and my family and to see true justice. And it's amazing how when you do that, people like you show up in your life. I mean, this is, yeah, I don't know, but it's, yeah, my prayer was answered, and here you are explaining some of this stuff that I need in my life personally. And I'm the type of person that I don't like to keep knowledge for myself. I like to share it with other people because I guess I'm a bit of an empath. I like to see other people succeed and learn. And
Me too.
you've given us that opportunity to start down a new path and learn new things. So I really appreciate it.
No problem. Glad you had me on. Glad to help. And I'm sure I'll catch your telegram soon.
Oh yeah. I'm probably gonna hop on there now. I have to work at 3 o'clock, but I'll hop on there now and see what they're talking about. Everybody, if you want to check that channel out, there's a lot of really good people like James on that channel. It's the Matrix Groove Show on Telegram. I should probably post a link in.
Matter of fact, I'm one of the mods on there.
James is one of the mods, actually. Yeah, absolutely. He's a great one, and puts out a lot more information than just this. A lot of really good information, and there's a lot of great mods on that channel. Matrix and Shady Groove are people that were on Twitter, had YouTube channels. Matrix has done interview with General Flynn. They've been censored from pretty much every platform. PayPal kicked them off. I mean, so what does that tell you? That tells you that the information that they're giving you is going to help you, and they're being stifled. So definitely a good place to check out, get some information and support them. They're doing everything they can to bring you the real news, the truth, and I'm there all the time. So, all right. Well, everybody, thank you for checking in. I'm sorry, there were some comments here. People are kind of talking back and forth. Let me see if I missed anything important. Okay, just kind of a lot of comments. So, all right, everybody, thank you for being here. I'll share this on Twitter, which I'm amazed I'm even still on, and or YouTube. So we'll see how long that goes. But yeah, thank you, James.
Thank you.
I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
You too. Take care. Bye.
All right, have a great day.